What's your story?
All right, I'm Alexis Belton, and this is my story.
Okay, so tell everyone where are you from?
I'm from Ruston, Louisiana.
Ruston.
Ruston, Louisiana.
No, but that's where all the old money is. If the rich people.
I didn't see that side, so
Okay.
maybe through golf, but that's about it. Yeah.
So golf. So tell the world, how did you well, growing up, who influenced you to play golf?
Yeah, I think it was just a really crazy scenario. I think a lot of people that look like me get into golf because of a random interaction that they had. So my dad played a lot when I was little, but not old enough for me to actually realize what golf was. He stopped playing. We got into all different kinds of sports. So I did everything from dance to basketball, any sport you can think of, any activity. Specialized in basketball, had a scholarship to play it at some awesome D1 colleges, and then my sophomore year of high school, I had a coach that came up to me and said, "Do you want to play golf?" And I said, "No." And he said, "You get out of school all day, you get free food, and you get to pick your outfits." I said, "What kind of free food?" He said, "Rooster Chris." I'm in. So that's how I got into golf. Food, a day off of school, and outfits.
Gotcha. So getting onto golf, because probably a few years ago, I used to want to say, I used to think I could play golf. And until I actually went to Top Golf and realized it was not easy.
Yeah.
It just looked easy on TV.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's a real skill. So if how old were you? It would actually when you first started. I'm gonna say that
16.
16.
Yeah. 16, 17.
So and so when did you realize but I'm not gonna play basketball, but I'm gonna be one pro golfer?
I think it was a mix of a bunch of different things. I started to really enjoy golf. I thought it was, as an athlete, anything to be competitive is super fun. I think golf is the ultimate competitor sport because you're playing against yourself. Everything is your fault, essentially, but everything is also your win. And so I decided to fully go into golf whenever my golf coach said I wouldn't do it. And I said, bet. So that was it.
And also, playing golf, being a female, and just being one African American as well. How difficult it was. I want you to share a few things, things you had to actually go through, being from Ruston, Louisiana as well. So I want you to kind of share some little details about your journey to actually becoming one,
Yeah.
golfer.
I think I'd always found myself in spaces where I had to interact with different cultures and learning how to do that and do that well. I think the hardest part was learning how to be myself while interacting with different cultures. And I think that was one of the biggest journeys in golf for me is I'm a young African American girl who wants to be fully me, and that wasn't necessarily accepted in that space at that time, and so navigating that was kind of difficult, but at the same time, golf opened doors for me that I would never experience outside of that. So it was learning how to be unapologetically myself, but also knowing how much of myself that I would give to certain people or certain things.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, leaving high school, going traveling to Texas to actually be in college for golf. So, how was your experience playing golf at college?
Yeah, it was quite interesting. Actually, University of Texas University of Texas Wesleyan was my third school that I went to. So I first graduated and went to small school in Alabama, which is I experienced a lot of just outright racism, and that was really tough. So I didn't even complete my semester there. I completed my schooling, left early, transferred to a school in South Carolina for a little bit, and wound up going to Texas Wesleyan, where I was really humbled. It was a school that I said never go to. I had a lot of pride in wanting to be at a D1 school, but ultimately it was this lesson of go where you're celebrated and not tolerated. And so that was kind of my journey from my sophomore up until my sophomore year of college. I'd already experienced 3 different colleges.
Gotcha. So, tell the world, actually, like, what is one like average day like for you?
An average day,
Yes.
wow. So now that I'm transitioning out of professional golf, it looks a lot different. But during professional golf last year and all the years before that, off season looked like training majority of the day. But also I had a mental coach, I had workouts, and then a lot of studying to do outside of that. A typical tournament day is a lot different when I'm at home because you normally get maybe 1 week home versus 3 weeks away. And so a lot of those days were resting, then going out to practice. But ultimately my life revolved around golf. Now life kind of looks like learning how to better utilize the game in order to create change.
So, I want you to name your top 5 greatest golfers of all time.
Of all time? Yeah. So there's this one girl from the South, Alexis Belton. There's another girl from North Louisiana, Alexis Belton. There's a young lady that lives in Atlanta, Alexis Belton. There's this girl that she used to play on the Australian Ladies Tour named Alexis Belton. And then there's this girl that actually transitioned. She played golf and long drive. I want to say she was like the #1 American long driver. Her name was Alexis Belton. So yeah.
Well, I'm gonna follow all 5 of them on Instagram.
But no. Outside of that, I definitely have a lot of favorites. I think starting from the beginning, Althea Gibson is one of just a pioneering woman that I think gets overlooked a lot. And so it's interesting, even as I want to utilize this platform to create change, of watching her humility. So most people think Venus and Serena, first to win Grand Slam. She was the first African American to do that. But she paved the way for them, right? And then she was the first African American on the LPGA. And she got into golf having to actually ask for sponsorships to play at a course because she couldn't afford it. You're talking about one of the best tennis players of all time not being able to afford to play golf. And she performed well, and she created this avenue for who most people know today, Renee Powell, who I'd say is #2 of one of my favorite golfers because she's created this legacy. She's upkeeping her father's golf course. So we're talking about one of the few golf courses owned by African Americans in general. And so I would say they're definitely top 2. Other players based off of performance, Adam Scott's one of my favorite golf swings to watch. And then I would have to say the last 2, love watching Tiger, phenomenal, best, player ever. And then I leave that last spot to my friends. I have some really, really talented friends that I've gotten to play golf with. And so I would definitely say them.
Gotcha. So this is a question, you don't have to answer it, but we're gonna get on it because being one African American playing golf, did you have to deal with any racism?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I think, you're going to experience that wherever you're in, but if you're in a majority place that hasn't had to deal with the outside world of diversity and different communities, that you're going to experience not even necessarily racism, right? But you're going to experience ignorance because you don't know what you don't know. And then outside of that, I definitely experienced racism as well on another front of people that did know better, but chose hate over love at the end of the day. but definitely have had less of those experiences over ignorant experiences.
Because, like, I would just say tennis, like, seeing all this racism and everything, and, like, if the female, I don't want to say her, like, I don't want to say her name wrong, but if she actually took a break for, like, mental health.
Naomi, yeah.
So, like, did you have to deal with anything like anything like that? Like, people just calling you out your name and, like, going to these matches, and, like, you gotta, you gotta kind of, like, stay, like, sane.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're in a space that you don't see a lot of people that look like you, and the people that you do see are normally working. That's tough. That's really tough. The reason that I've stepped away from actually playing tournament golf is because I got to that mental spot of I can't do this anymore, because I need help. I need support. I needed a lot of things that were really hard to find, that led me to a place of a mental breakdown. And being on the other side of it, I think it helps me now being in the position that I am and that I want to be, to help those that are going to go through it, that don't know that that's going to come. And then hopefully to help alleviate it existing in general.
Right. So I have another question about, something close to that topic.
Okay.
Like, being one African American female, was it hard to get any, sponsorships?
What are sponsorships?
No,
I'm just kidding.
like,
I know what they are. I know what they are. That's my point. Yeah, it was really difficult. There's been, even down to this week, this notion of I wasn't either I wasn't light enough, or I wasn't the right Black person that they wanted, or success doesn't matter, looks do. And that comes with companies and different things like that. There's always, things that you run in as a female athlete in general, and those existed within golf. And then on top of that, being a Black female athlete, we just experienced things that some other players didn't have to experience, and so that is just the reality of it. But yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna give you all your flowers right now, and while you can smell them, because I can just imagine just the things you heard, and things you had to go through. Being from Ruston, up north Louisiana, and trying to play golf. I haven't been to Ruston, but I heard some stories.
Yeah, I'd say, more than anything, I love, the fact that flowers are being given now. Those are something that people are able to see. My biggest hope, and I think something that we're starting to be more cautious of, are those are able to be planted and established so others can actually smell them.
Hey, so playing golf over 10 plus years, tell us, what do you actually, enjoy about it? And tell us what do you actually, hate about it?
Yeah.
The whole process of being a brand, a golfer, everything.
Yeah. I'll start with, my dislikes, I would say, was that something that I loved became a job that I didn't know how to, really preserve and keep that love. And so I think that was the hardest part of golf, playing on a professional level. I'd say the other thing, over time, I think just it's just really hard to make money. You need money to make money. And in golf, the amount of money you need to make money is even more, out there. So I think the lack of support was really hard. Things that I loved about the game was the community. My golf sisters were all in a group chat. So many different group chats that exist with so many different, I feel like, sisters that I've made within golf. Being able to travel the world through golf and long drive. The people that you meet, the networks that you're able to build, the opportunity, that in itself, you get to see, you get to work in nature, which is, they say nature produces wisdom, nature produces just sanity. Nature produces a better breath. Nature produces so many things, and you can let golf get in the way of enjoying that, or you can enjoy that and let that help your golf. So, yeah.
Gotcha. So, where do you see, like, where do you see your career far as like life, like after golf?
Yeah.
On next 3 years.
Yeah. I think I always thought golf was going to be being a professional was LPGA player was what I need to do or to accomplish in order to change the world. And now I realize that it created a great platform. Long Drive created a great platform, but the work that I can do outside of being a player, I will be more. And so I'm really excited to just steward a platform well and grow that and utilize golf in order to help build bridges between different communities, to help grow communities. Sport is an international language. And so utilizing golf to change the world through a lot of different initiatives from nonprofit to, innovation. I think I'm really big into golf innovation and connecting golf with art and connecting golf with other sports. So I think that's where in the next 3 years, it's going to be really fun to see a lot of things I'm currently working on in action and active. The next 5 years, that's.
So are you getting into broadcasting, training, anything like that?
Yeah, so moving a lot into media and broadcasting is one of the initiatives. Like I said, innovation, recreating golf to really trying to say a lot without saying a lot. But yeah, just like making golf different, right? Innovative, partnering golf with art, which is two things that I love. Basically partnering golf with anything and creating that. I think broadcasting hopefully will be a platform in order to really drive a lot of nonprofit work. I think one of my biggest goals is connecting people that I've met that have wealth and they're trying to figure out where to put that with nonprofits and people that are doing really good work through golf. So sharing stories of people that are doing good through golf ultimately is the goal, and hopefully for sport and everything.
Okay. So, what's your advice to one, a young female out there just like thinking about getting into golf and just try to follow behind yourself?
Yeah, I would say number one, fun. Have fun. Because one of the biggest things that we lose out, and we see this with NILs, right, is like sport is becoming a job at such a young age. But the more fun that you have, the more sports that you play, the better you're going to be at whatever sport that you wind up choosing. And make it your own. There are basic fundamentals that you need in order to succeed in the game of golf. But outside of that, be unique and make golf your own. I would say that's the biggest advice I'd have for the kids, and the biggest advice for parents is let them have fun, do research, get them, plugged into golf community so they can learn and have fun.
Right. So, tell us, what's next for you? Basically, just with the journalists and basically a little bit more time than actually what I just asked you.
Yeah.
But Forrest, do you plan on dropping your own brand?
Yeah.
Or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely putting together my own brand. Hopefully that will drop later this year. And then cultivating some other stuff, working on an agency right now for consulting, marketing and branding. And then I'd say immediately what's next is lunch. That's wait, do y'all hear that? Okay, yeah.
We hear it. All right. And also, But last but not least, tell everyone. Where can they find you at on social media and just everywhere?
You can find me on Instagram at Alexis Belton. You can follow I do a lot of clinics for companies, nonprofits, whatever it may be. You can check that out at shrekandgoldcollective.com. I'm pretty sure I'm on Twitter. Research my name. I don't know what my handle is. But on TikTok, on all the places, you can find me there. And if you email me, I will probably respond and would love to have conversations with everyone. So, yeah, that's where you can find me. Oh, you also didn't ask a very important question.
That's what's the important question.
Yeah. So, we always have a walkout song in Long Drive. I wasn't able to put mine on the air, but I'm from Louisiana. That's my walkout song.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What's your story?
Nolazine, make them scream. Nolazine. Make them scream. Scream. Nolazine, make them scream. You heard me.